Good evening, YouTube. This is the Maineprepper. Tonight's gear review is going to be on the Free Knight, that's K-N-I-G-H-T, military style 1.5 day assault bag. It's a 30-liter bag made out of a 900D polyester, and bottom line up front, for $39.95, it's not so good. It does have a lot of the design criteria that I was absolutely looking for. In fact, almost all of them. However, it's not very well executed. So it's not a total loss with a little needle and thread and some other assorted improvements. I think it'll be suitable for my cause. I need it to be going on the back of my USMC ILBE ruck, for which there's a link right here at the top. And you can have a look at that if you'd like to. However, in the interim, this bag will need a little bit of modification to be able to go on the back. That will be shown at the back. Right now the bag is shown completely full. I'm going to quickly unpack and show you what's inside as soon as I come back. Let me just show you the bag from a few different angles here. I'm going to turn it slowly. It's not a very big bag. 30 liters is not small either. It's a fair size. I like the size, the 30-liter size. Has a carrying handle at the top, of course. We'll get around to all the really nitty-gritty on the features. I just wanted to show you the bag from a few different angles. And as you can see, it's not a very large bag, and I'll put the dimensions up a little bit later. I'm going to show the bag mounted to the back of my USMC ILBE Assault later on, and I'll show you the mods that I had to do to make it necessary and possible. Alright, let me show you now the bag up close, and we'll start getting into the inside details of it. Let's look at the user interface first. The straps are very poor, I would say, especially for any kind of heavy weight. Even though they're fairly wide, they're also quite thin. And they do have a sort of a webbed nylon on the backside for a little bit of breathability, but they're quite thin. They're not very well padded, so they would definitely have to be reinforced. Also, the points where they attach onto the rucksack or the bag, although the stitching is fairly good quality, it really could stand a bit of reinforcement, I think. Now, I'm not going to put more than about 30 pounds in this bag. However, even then, I feel a little bit uncomfortable with these straps. They are adjustable, and that's nice, but they're just kind of thin. And they do have the requisite chest strap, which is important when you are rucking or when you're backpacking. You want to be able to strap this on and snap this buckle across the front. That's going to make the load a lot easier to carry. This is quite actually not very good. Alright, let's get down to the waist belt. The waist belt on this bag is really notional. These waist belts, there's two types. There's one that's a load distributing kind, which this is not, and the other kind is what they used to put on the Mountaineer rucksacks. This is, you can see, this is a very thin nylon. Even though it's wide, it's very thin. You're not going to be able to distribute a load. The best that this will do is to keep the bag from bouncing around on your back. That's about it. Very notional, I guess I would say. So they can say that it has a waist strap on it. The nice thing I do like about this, it is removable. And guess what? These are not going to stay on here. So I'm pulling them off right now to show you how easy it is. All right. Looking down at the back of the bag, where it goes against your back, there is a slight amount of padding in it. Not a whole lot. And up and behind the padding, there is a panel with a Velcro, very generous actually, strips of Velcro on here to hold this shut. I'm going to put something inside of here like an extra chamois at least, but whatever you put in there, remember you're going to sweat through this panel. There is no hard panel inside like you have on the USMC Assault. It's empty. You could, if you wanted, I presume, put something in there like a hard piece of plastic to sort of stiffen it up. I'm going to put something in there sort of soft and see how that works out later on. All right. Let's get into the top side of the bag. There is a Y yoke on the top, and it is adjustable. That way, I guess if your zippers pull loose, you'd have this secondary backup, or you could put some extra gear in here and strap it down. These are very thin and lightweight straps. These are side release closures, snaps. However, they are not compatible with the kind that are on my USMC bag. So in order to use these, clicking them into the USMC bag, I'd have to replace them, which is entirely possible because it's a 1-inch wide strap. All right, so this does snap in. It is easily adjustable by this pull ring. I'm I'm going to move this out of the way so that we can have a better look. All right. Now, at the top of the bag, we have two zippers. This is for the main compartment as well as the outside compartments. Each compartment has two zippers all the way down the bag, and there are two pockets on the back plus a medium-sized pocket plus the main compartment. Let's first look inside the main compartment. This zipper will zip all the way down the side of the bag. Now you do have to deal with these two side straps, which are there essentially to help you hold the bag in place should the zippers fail, or also a place to attach some additional gear. For that respect, they're very notional. And I'm going to undo this because later this is going to serve, I'm going to modify this and I'll show you this later. This way I can unzip the bag all the way down. At the bottom of the bag, there is the capacity to strap some sort of gear here with these two very thin straps. I would not put a whole lot of gear here though. And they can be adjusted so you can put something in. Something small, maybe like a poncho perhaps would fit there. I'm not going to put anything on the outside because, as you know, I'm not a real big fan of strapping a lot of gear on the outside of the bag. It tends to make the bag quite hard to go through the trees with or anything else. It just makes it a little bit difficult when you're getting out of a vehicle, if you're throwing it in the back of the car. And remember, this is a bag that you're going to carry with you every single day. Throw it in the back of your car, it's going to be with you nearby. So it doesn't need to look like a gypsy camp hanging off the outside of it. It needs to be very easy to transport. All right. Now I've opened the bag completely, and you can see on the panel that goes up against your back, there's a zipper. Now this is semi-waterproof. This is a slick plastic, and it appears that it would be waterproof, although I think it would leak at the seams. The zippers are a very thick type of zipper, as you can see, but they are exposed, so you will get dirt in there and you'll need to clean these out periodically. Blow them out with some air would be the best. Inside, the zippers are a little bit less robust. They're smaller. And this zipper compartment will hold something small in there. In this case, I have my space blanket and candle. And the other side of the compartment, there is a mesh pocket. And it's all stitched fairly well. It's single stitch, but this feels a little bit flimsy. This back panel here does, although it is supposed to be what is ostensibly a waterproof material. I'm imagining it's going to wear out fairly soon. That's just my guess, under a lot of use. All right. Now I'll open the outer compartment. Just behind the main compartment is this outer compartment. It also has a waterproof type material on the inside. And on the back side, facing towards the user, are these two smaller pockets. I like these pockets because it gives you a place to put more stuff in an organized fashion. What I don't like about these pockets is the material used on this is very flimsy. I'm not very impressed with this. This looks like it'll tear loose within a matter of days in the field. So I'm not too happy with that piece there. All right. The first compartment on the top is a smaller pocket, and this is one of the reasons why I like the bag. Now this pocket is actually very robust. This is the 90D stuff here. The plastic on the inside feels fairly good. So I don't know why we have this disparity of quality material from the inside compartments to these two outer pouches. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. The zipper is good. It has two pulls on it. The zippers do make a bit of noise. All right, so you may want to take those off and replace them with some sort of a zipper pull that you manufacture yourself, or put some tape around them, some electrician's tape or something to keep them from making a lot of rattle clank noise on you, because that is kind of an issue with me. I don't like a lot of noise out in the field. I like people to be quiet. We call it noise discipline. All right, on the back there are some MOLLE attaching points. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly 5. That's a little tight there. And there's a Velcro panel right behind all of that. And that's fairly handy if you don't have any MOLLE things on there. I don't know that I'll put anything on there at all, but you may find it useful. And behind that, there are the ability to put some MOLLE gear. There are 3 loops, 2 wide ones and a thin one in the middle. So you can see where my fingers are going in there. Wide, thin, wide. Okay. The compartment below is very interesting because it's the bigger of the outer compartments. It also has zipper. Zipper doesn't go all the way to the bottom, so it essentially will pull partially open. It has another sort of pocket on the back side. Again, kind of flimsy material. A place to put paper and pens to keep things organized. I'm very big about staying organized out in the field because if your stuff is a mess, it's clutter, and clutter is hard to keep up with, especially when you're already tired. To the outside here, we have some molly points, and we also have some larger strap here, as you can see. So we have the strap behind, and then we have the molly points. Even though they're well stitched, this is a rather thin 900D. Here, if this is 900D, it's pretty lightweight. This is a very thin material on the outside for the nylons and everything. So overall, this is not a very durable bag. And for 40 bucks, I've seen stuff made by Condor and others for close to similar price. And frankly, for 40 bucks, it could have been a lot better. So not too terribly impressed with this bag. Don't really like it. I don't think it's a very good bargain or buy for the money. However, I have it and I'm going to see if I can make it work. So when you come back, you're going to see the bag all packed up and attached to the back of my USMC ILBE rucksack. All right, folks, here we are again on the outside of the bag, and we're looking at this bottom strap that comes around the side and to the back, and it has, instead of a buckler, it has a simple keeper. What we'll do is we'll unthread the keeper like so, and we're going to thread this back through my buckle and this is a buckle set that I bought that was extra for my USMC ILBE. It's good to have a set of these. You can get them on eBay for fairly cheap. And I'm going to thread this back in, and I'm going to show you how I convert these over very quickly to be able to buckle in, and I'll show you the points on the USMC ILBE. There is sort of a one-way to do it type of a feature to this, and it's not as intuitive as it seems. In fact, let me show you. Doing it this way, it tends to slide a bit, and if you flip it over the opposite way, it tends to not slide, even though it looks like just the opposite. It doesn't make sense to me, however. It seems to work a little better this way. All right, folks, let's show it on the back of the rucksack now. I thought before I strapped it onto the back of the USMC ILBE on the left, I'd show the Knightsbrig 1.5 Day Assault on the right. It's a 30-liter bag, and this is a 65-liter here, the USMC ILBE. But frankly, I think the USMC is a whole lot bigger. This bag, and you're going to see it strapped to the back in just a second, is way smaller. That's okay. It was supposed to be smaller. All right, I've undone one of the straps on here. I've put the mods in place, and now here the bag is on top, and here are those two buckles that I have modified to match up with the females on the USMC ILBE. One on either side, and I can snug these down. The whole purpose of this was to have the ability, if necessary, to be able to put this simply on the outside of my ILBE quickly, strapping it down and then moving out. Now this is a lot of gear. I have to warn you, if you do this, this is not going to be something your little sister is going to carry for you, for sure. And then at the top of the bag, there is this strap which runs over the top and is also used to hold in the hydration system. So let me take this loose, and we will thread this through the top carrying strap of the Knightsbrig. Locking it down, and there you have it. Now it's going to be a little bit loose and flopping around, so this is the point where it may be necessary and advisable to have a couple of bungee cords. I'll mess with this later once my foot gets back where I can start carrying gear. This is a lot of weight, folks, okay? That's why it's important your suspension system be rated for 120 pounds or so. at least 90 on the front. So if you get a bag that says it's a 55 or 60 pound rucksack, it doesn't mean the bag will only hold 55 or 60. This bag will probably hold a ton. It's the fact that the straps start to get very uncomfortable and unmanageable over the weight limit of the bag. This is a 120 pound bag, okay, and these straps are good for that. And that's what they say, so we're going to test it out later in the field. But for now, at least we have something going here. And I'll strap this down so she's not wobbling around quite so much. But at least I have the option to be able to carry all of my gear at the same time on my back. Whether I'm going to be man enough to do it, that remains to be seen. Folks, this has been the Maineprepper. Thank you for swinging by, and come back later. We have more gear reviews. Bye. Dear Haas USMC, Happy Marine Corps birthday, real early this year. I was thinking of you and what to get you when suddenly this idea just jumped up from behind me, so to speak, and really grabbed me. My cherished USMC assault pack. It's awesome. Mostly it's housebroken and well behaved, except when he's been drinking. Then it's best to just leave him alone. I find it helps also to not make eye contact. And whatever you do, don't make any sudden moves. He's easiest to handle when he's sleeping and laying around, which is most of the time, but he certainly has his moments. Just one more thing, buddy. Make sure whatever you do, don't respect him. He is really big about that whole respect thing, and he's kind of sensitive about it too. Oh, and I threw in a little snack for you as well. Have a great day, and remember, don't be scared, be prepared.